Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Hughes. I'm the Director of Communications for the Spirit Invest Group. Today, I want to talk about the G20 summit that South Africa will be hosting in Johannesburg on the 22nd and 23rd of November. It's a very, very important meeting and one that is happening in Africa for the first time. The G20 was established in 1999, principally by the Canadian Prime Minister and former Finance Minister, Paul Martin. He was joined by the US Treasury Secretary, Larry Summers, and at that time was supported very strongly by our former Finance Minister, Trevor Manuel. So South Africa has been included in this group of 20 since the outset. So it's quite an important achievement for our country. But this is the first time we'll be hosting it and the first time in Africa. And in a sense, South Africa represents Africa. Although recently the African Union was included in the G20 meeting. The EU is also included in the G20 meeting. So it's a lot more countries than 20. But 18 formally recognized, plus these regional economic communities as well. Also, you get some important organizations, NGOs attending and the like. So the event is due to be scheduled or to take place in Johannesburg at the weekend. It's attracted some unwanted attention, principally because the United States, for the first time, will not be participating in the G20. So this is the first time any country of the G20 has not participated. And Donald Trump has indicated that there will be no delegate to the G20, which is interesting and it's unhelpful insofar as we need, obviously, the world's largest economy to be at the G20. And also the United States takes over the chairmanship of the G20 after South Africa. So ordinarily in summitry, you hand over the chair to the next chair. In this instance, it would have been South Africa to the United States. So this is not a very helpful development at all. But it's a continuation of President Trump's criticism of South Africa's domestic policies, racial policies, and economic policies. So there is somewhat of a detractor in this particular G20. Also, not very encouragingly at all, the president of China, Xi Jinping, will also not be traveling to Johannesburg to participate in the G20 summit, which again will detract, I think, from the kind of impact and the importance of the G20. Moreover, perhaps less surprising is that President Putin of Russia will not be traveling. Remember that there is a warrant for his arrest from the International Criminal Court. So as South Africa is a signatory to the Rome Statute, they would have an obligation to arrest him. But also the Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, is not attending. Nor, in fact, is the Argentinian president, President Milei, who is regarded as a right-wing conservative and an ally, if you like, of President Trump. So does this all mean that the G20 is going to be a damp squib? Well, not in my opinion. The G20 provides South Africa with a great opportunity, not only to clean up Johannesburg, which would be welcome, but to demonstrate that it's very good at summitry, and we are very, very good at hosting summits. It's a fantastic opportunity for South Africa to put its best face forward. It's a great opportunity for networking. You have some 68 senior politicians attending the meeting. It's a great opportunity for our president, our international relations department, our trade ministry, our environmental ministry, and transport and others, where we need infrastructure to profile South Africa very, very strongly and to say that we are a country that's worth investing in. We're an advanced, modern, democratic country. So I think we can still make something of it, even though the G20 will not have the cachet that other G20 summits have had. But there are also some important events on the sidelines of the G20. So, a lot of attention will be placed on what comes out of the G20 summit. Usually there is a leader's declaration. And if there's no consensus this year, there could be a chairman's declaration that President Ramaphosa can read. But on the sidelines, What's very important is there's a series of meetings between foreign ministers, for example, environmental ministers, finance ministers, as we've discussed. But also, apart from the politicians, there's a series of meetings of what's called the B20. Now, this is the business 20, and this means there are business or very senior representatives of business, chambers of commerce, from the countries that will be attending the G20 and indeed the EU and the AU and the regional economic communities. So that'll take place over 2 days. And this is a fabulous opportunity for South African business to network with its counterparts internationally. So irrespective if we don't have alignment on key international issues such as, let's say, climate change, just transition, inequality, development financing, these issues which are going to be difficult to get alignment on, we can have some really constructive meetings on the sidelines, particularly at the B20 level. And I think this is something that's very, very important for South Africa, where the best of our business community can meet with the best of the international business community, and hopefully we will enhance investment in South Africa. Remember, South Africa has just been uplifted from the grey list. We may get an upgrade in terms of the sovereign rating agencies as well. We've just had a decent medium-term budget policy statement. We've had good revenue collection. It looks like we're tackling corruption as well. So South Africa has an increasingly positive story to tell. So we look forward to that positive story being told at the G20. Thank you for watching.